Welcome back to Life Lanes, everyone, the Brotherly Guide. We are your hosts, Justin and Dominic Mazza, and our guest today is Marie O'Rourke. Marie's actually one of my best friend's little sisters. I've known her literally since the day she was born. I've seen her grown over time into an amazing young woman. She works legal at a tax firm, and I'm super pumped to get to talk to her today. Hey, Marie, what's going on?
Hey, I'm so excited to be here.
Welcome.
Um, my life is incredibly boring day to day. Um, it's not,
Setting the
I'm living at
tone.
home.
Really, really keeping the listeners engaged here.
I mean, I think I'm interesting and cool, but when I look at it from the outside, I don't know if anyone else would find me as interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm working now. I just graduated. I don't know how long I'm legally allowed to say that I'm post grad, but I'm gonna keep doing it until the end of this year because I feel like 2 years gives me enough time to be like, now I'm actually an adult when I really don't feel like one. Um, I'm having a good time. I'm hanging out with my friends who live in the city. I just visited a friend down in Florida, so I got to go on like my first adult paid for by me vacation, which was very exciting. Um, and I have a lot of cool things coming up for the rest of the year. A lot of concerts, a lot of birthdays too. Still keeping friends from college and making new ones along the way. But yeah, it's pretty mundane for the most part.
So you graduated last year from undergrad, from grad?
Undergrad in 2022.
Okay. So when were you born?
I was born in 2000.
That's pretty crazy to hear that. I remember a couple of years ago, I guess a couple of years ago, what people were saying, how do you know someone is over 21? It's just the 2000 like hit. So it was just kind of weird, Dom and I, 90s babies, you don't really get that anymore.
No,
No,
and
you don't.
bouncers still look at your ID for a really long time, and they give you the sigh or the dirty look, so they're just kind of like angry at you for being a little bit younger, which is I always get a lot of joy out of, but I'm sure that'll fade with time.
It's interesting with the IDs where there's like a point where you're like offended when they ID you, and then you become offended when they don't
They
ID you.
don't. Only for a woman.
Only for
Yeah.
women, yeah. For men, it's more of just like a nuisance. I don't know. I guess it's also like what town do you live in? Like for me, I live in a college town, right? So I think there's a clear distinction between like me and an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old trying to use a fake ID. But
Yeah.
I also think
Lindsay,
guys look older when they're younger, so you might not have gotten ID'd when you were 18, but I certainly was.
yeah, that's
I,
true. We have
I think
facial hair to cover it up.
that's
Hmm.
what it is. Lindsay gets offended nowadays when she isn't carded, or when she is carded and I'm not. Like we're at the same dinner table and like fancy dinners too. Like also, that what does that say about me? That means then I'm
You're a
old
predator.
enough. Yeah, right. Like, that's basically what the waiter's calling me.
You're grooming them.
Whoa,
Child
whoa,
bride.
tough.
It's hard because
Um,
she's so short, and like I don't think that's
that's
ever
true.
gonna stop.
I know, but it's like for women, it's like, you're not just going to keep growing in your mid 20s. It's like if you're short, that's it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of wish I could keep growing. I want like at least 2 more inches to like hit
That would
the
be
the
fun.
ideal mark, but
It'd be fun
it
if you
stopped
could
when I
kind of
was
like
like 12.
modulate it.
That's what
Yeah.
our dad says that a lot. He's always like, you know what? We always say we want 2 more inches, but then when you get to the height, you probably want two more, and you're probably just never happy with the height you're at. So
I don't know. I feel like there's a height. If I was like
Yeah, it's called 6 feet, Dom.
6'3", nah, 6 feet. I
six
probably
foot,
want to be a little
that's
taller.
that's some height.
6'3" would be like, you could be a pretty mediocre athlete and still get by in a lot of things.
And
Can't
as
teach
someone who
height.
is hooked up with a few above 6 feet athletes, it's not all it's cracked up to be, let me tell you.
Whoa, it's starting off spicy.
You start looking weird at a certain point after 6 feet. It's just like no one really notices what you look like
I
anymore. No
agree.
one's really looking at your
it's
face.
proportion based, right? If you're like
Mhm.
super
Yeah.
gangly, then it's like, whoa, that dude's a fucking alien. But because I lived with two friends in college that were both 6'8".
All right, you guys are just
That's
short though.
Pretty
You're
Whoa.
like
fucking
little-
big.
you sound like little short, bitter people.
Yeah.
Wait,
We'll-
can we
we'll
get some
into that
height
later.
counts? I want to know what I'm working with. We're all sitting.
Dom, what do you introduce yourself as?
5'8".
That's
Yeah, 5'8".
We gotta round
okay.
up.
Yeah.
I think if we busted off the tape, would be 5'7.5".
Okay.
67.5 inches.
I'm 6'2".
Nice.
I don't think so. Yeah, but
I'm
you
just
have
saying,
like a
like, you
weird
guys just-
body
you're-
too.
What's up? You said I have a weird body?
Yeah.
Again, like as a short person, I think you have a weird body.
Whoa.
Nah, dude, I'm super proportional. It's fine. If I was taller, it would look weirder. I
I was
remember Brett would always say like, "Oh, it's easier for short people to like lift weights." When like we would talk about like, I'm just like, dude, I'm just stronger than you, Brett.
Your center of gravity is lower to the ground. I think there's some merit to that.
There is, give and take. I did wrestling for a while, and it's good to be tall and it's good to be short, right? Kind of
Mhm.
each have their own pros and cons.
I think the difference between you and Brett is that you work out and he doesn't.
that is a
That would
possibility.
be a good difference.
Yeah, I haven't thought of that possibility, but that does sound accurate.
There's a Little Dicky just dropped a new album, and for a weird reason, Dom, I listened to it on the way home from Vermont, and he just sings. He's like, "I'm 6 foot, not really 5'11". Okay, you got me. I'm 5'10". Like that's his line. I'm like, yep, that's how guys talk.
No, it's like I wonder where this 6 foot obsession came from. It just seems it's kind of arbitrary.
It's pretty newer. I feel like over the last 5 to 10 years, that's been the standard. Are people just getting taller?
I don't think
I
so.
don't know. I don't think so. I think as more immigrants come in or migrants come into this country, because people come from all different backgrounds, right? And if you come from Norse blood compared to Mediterranean blood, it's going to be totally different. Yeah, so that's kind of fucked when they're like, oh, like the average height in the United States is whatever, because there's such a diverse population in the United States.
Yeah.
I think there's also more of a conversation among women about what you want in terms of a partner and like how height plays into that. So like I think it's just more of a conversation piece and something that we're all kind of understanding as a collective rather than we're all getting taller or shorter. I think it's just something that we're all willing to talk about now. Because when you talk to most girls, at least in my experience, there's not really a definition of what you want in someone other than taller than you. Generally. It doesn't
Right,
matter how
that
short
is-
or tall you are.
That's the standard. Yeah.
You are how
Yeah.
tall?
I'm 5'7". So
Wow.
not crazy tall.
That is not crazy tall.
That's
Yeah.
not tall. I thought you were like.
I thought you were
That's-
taller too.
I think I
Alright, so
have
this
the
is-
energy.
This is the average height of men by birth year from 1896 to 1996.
What a great map. Can we just
This
pause?
is crazy.
Oh, phenomenal. This
Is
is done.
dark green taller?
So dark green's taller. So it goes up to 185 centimeters, which is 6 feet. So
Why is US
America's
so tall?
America
Damn,
is
we
on
got some
average
big ass people.
the tallest.
Yeah.
Also
Dom, let's go somewhere else. We'd live like kings.
also the
Yeah,
fattest.
what is
we're-
that bottom left? Is that Peru? They look pretty short.
This is Peru. Sorry, this is Peru. This is Chile. So yeah, Peru, Ecuador, and I'm assuming Colombia are pretty
Yeah,
short.
that makes sense.
Can we get that in feet? I don't know
China's
how
a
to
little-
read centimeters.
So 185 centimeters is 6 feet.
Okay.
So let's play this time lapse for you.
Wow.
So this is saying that the United States. Oh, that was early.
That's
okay.
over time.
This is earlier. So ironically,
Huh. People
We're-
around us are
we're-
getting taller.
yeah. So everyone around us is getting taller. We do get taller in the 30s.
Damn, look at those Norse people up there.
Yeah, Australia too.
Justin, to answer your question, because you were the 5 to 10 year thing you were wrong about, but yes, the average height of people around the world has
No,
grown.
the thing I was thinking about, I feel like over the last 10 years, we'd pay the 6 foot has become, for whatever reason, that bench. I feel like 5'7" was the average height
Mhm.
when we were growing up. I don't know. At least
My
that's
you-
most
boyfriend in high
your,
school
in your
used to tell
house
me.
because your entire family is
Yeah.
5'7".
Don't come after us. Our basement is for like under 6 foot people.
You know,
So
pros and cons. I
Yeah.
think the 6 foot thing though is just in the Western world. I feel like people in India don't abide by the 6 foot rule. I have no idea about that. That's just a complete
yeah,
According to,
guess on my
according to
part.
WikiHow, some women prefer tall guys because the height difference makes them feel protected and safe.
could say that about big arms too. Here we go.
I
Dom.
agree. Then why don't we like really big people?
Because you
I would
skip
feel-
leg day.
Well, I feel like big people. Well, no, not big arm people. Just I was going like not obese, but like real heavy set people, right?
Yeah, like a Shane Gillis body type.
Yeah, I would feel. Yeah, but he's also I
No,
think
but,
kind of tall.
Dad bods are also in. They're also having
Dad
their
bods are
moment.
it. Yeah, I feel
We've
like
all
the
seen
bod that
Jason
you're like.
Momoa.
Have you guys seen Pat Mahomes now? This
Oh, that just went.
circulating?
I saw that
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
locker room.
Am I
Yeah.
allowed to do that without getting flagged? I'll do it.
We'll find out.
15-yard
We're not-
penalty. Is that a
we're not
football
That's
talking
joke?
about
what peak performance looks like. The little dad
Oh,
bod,
wow,
the little
he does have a
pouch.
dad. Oh, man.
Yeah,
The
big
pouches
dad
are in.
bod. You know, it says
you
that
ready?
you work out, but you also like to eat food and drink beer, which is I
And
think
you're
the-
probably a good caregiver of your kids.
That's a stretch, but
Dom, it's called the dad bod for a reason.
that is quite a dad bod right there.
That's pretty tough still frame. The video.
You guys, I saw it was like a Pat Mac Holmes for like Mac Jones because he had the
Oh,
dad,
no,
he had
yeah,
the
yeah.
dad bod pick going around. Thought
Well-
that was clever.
Murray, like just on the height, we could jump right to it. So 5'7", do you typically go for taller partners?
Honestly, I'm working with like not even law of attraction, but it's more just like whoever feels comfortable enough to come up to me, I'm kind of working with you for the most part. I'm not really like I'll notice someone attractive, but like in terms of me going up to there, I think a lot of that has to do with like a feeling of personal safety. And I'm kind of convinced I'm going to get murdered by a stranger, so like I'm not really trying to mix it up with someone I don't really know. But I would say generally, if history is any indicator, then yeah. But I also tend to wear heels when I go out, just as a regular, if not heels. Like I'm wearing platform sneakers. I'm adding like at least an inch or two on the regular. So like, I tend to think shorter people just don't come up to me. But do I prefer someone taller than me? Does it have to be 6 inches taller than me? No. I can work with 5'10", 5'9". It's more about their comfortability with me. Because I feel like it's not that I'm unwilling to date someone my height or even shorter. I just feel like there's a level of insecurity that I can't control on the part of the other person where
Yeah.
you're wanting to like Dom said, wear heels when you want to go out, you want to dress up, you want the option. And I don't want it to be a problem when I do. And I've had instances with people where it is a problem. And I was like, this isn't my fault. And this isn't about you. This is about my outfit and what I want to wear. And so like having to default to the other person to make a personal choice and also kind of making you the villain is really frustrating because you're like, this is not my issue. This is something to do with you. And you're just kind of stuck because you don't want to offend the other person, but your height is really not something you can control on either part. And I didn't care. But optics, I think, say a lot.
Do you like? I'm curious because I think I've dated like one or two people my height or just above, like not much, right? I'm just curious from a height where does height fall into overall what makes someone attractive to you? Gen Z woman, like, I'm assuming there's other things, but I'm kind of curious, like, how important is height?
I wouldn't say it's really a deal breaker if I like you. I like you. We all look the same laying down. My mom might listen to this, so
That's cute.
just as like a frame of reference, keep it in.
I love
But
that.
poor thing. But I don't really care that much. Is it something I notice? Like, it's easier to spot a tall person across a bar. So, like, of course I'll see you first. And it was it was freshman year of college. It was like one of my first weekends out. I had never really drank before, so it was a whole bunch of new experiences. We were going to our college bar. And we walk into the bar and I see this kid. It's like the second I walk in, I see him across the room and I was like, I want that one. He was 6'5". He was on the track team and we were seeing each other, I think, for like a year after that, like for the entirety of my freshman year and then a little bit later. But like, that was one of the first times where I was like, that is the person that I need to talk to right now. So I think it was just kind of, it was like a beacon. There had to be 100 people in this like 100 square foot room. We were all disgusting. It was a heat wave the first week of school, so we were all sweaty and gross. And I don't know. It was just, that was like one of the most distinctive moments where I was like, height matters. And then I went through a phase where I was only talking to people that were 6'2" and above, which was kind of a mess. But it was really fun for the amount of time it was. But when it comes to people I actually have more meaningful relationships with, I think they've all been under 6 foot. So fun to play around with, but
I don't want to jump to conclusions. Seems to be a trend.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think also if you're cool with how tall I am, because I'm gonna meet you with heels on. That's usually just, I would say the odds are probably in favor of that. So if you're cool with that, then I can hang out with you. We can have a good time. It doesn't have to be that serious. And as long as it's not a problem for you, because like I have no intention of changing really any part of what I do for the most part. Compromise is a part of relationships, at least that's what I've heard. And that's the one thing I really ask for, is that you're okay with it. And like, I don't care if I look taller than you in a few pictures. Yeah, I'll slouch. I'll do my best. But like, I don't care at a certain point. It was my senior prom, and my boyfriend at the time was my date. And I was picking out heels, and my mom was like, you can't wear those. And I was like, why not? And she was like, he's like 5'10". That's not fair. So I got the shorter shoes and I was miserable, and we broke up later that summer. I really, oh, it wasn't sad. It was meant to be over. But I was going to college and there was a whole host of other issues, and I was like, we're not going to see each other probably ever again. And it was a great relationship for high school, but it needed to be done at the time. But he really wasn't okay with it and a lot of other things that I wanted to do. So if your insecurity is going to come down to me choosing what I feel like is a benign thing, I'm not really hurting anyone, I don't think, by wearing taller shoes that make me 5'9", which is still not a crazy height. But I also think I give off an energy of like, I don't want to call it big dick energy because I want to give myself a little bit more credit. But like, I think I just have this like really tall presence. So I think a lot of people think I'm huge and gigantic. And I think the energy can be a lot to combat sometimes. That sounds really conceited, doesn't it?
No, that's pretty interesting, that tall person energy. That's kind of like, it's on a similar wave from it. What college did you go to?
I went to Fordham University, and I went to the Rose Hill campus in the Bronx. It was a great time.
What's the other
I'd give a
campus?
kidney. It's Lincoln Center, around Columbus Circle.
That's in Manhattan?
Mm-hmm. That's like where all the artsy dance majors went, because it was right next to Lincoln Center where the National Ballet is.
Rose Hill Dom is
Or New York
where
City.
all of our friends went.
The
So,
one in
like,
the
that's where-
Bronx, right?
That's where
Like
Dave.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
We don't have artsy friends.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Dave's.
Do we have any artsy? Do we have any friends that are musicians? Kind of missed the ball on that one.
No, we actually don't. Dave is the artsiest in terms of like photography and potentially being gay, although he's married. But
Does that mean he's artsy?
he is artsy. But no, we have no musicians.
Don't worry, Dom. You have Lindsay.
I wouldn't really say she's a musician. She's
Would
more-
singing
she's-
not count?
No, actually,
no, it's not.
it's
They're not
a music.
playing
It's
an
not
instrument.
it's not an instrument.
I think she would disagree.
Yeah.
It's
Get
like
her in
saying
here right
track
now.
as a
Musically.
Is she there? Is she there?
Let me see.
Go get her.
Lindsay.
I'll like die on that hill. That's a performance.
Yeah,
How is
she's
She's
that
an
more
artist,
musician?
See if I can get her.
regardless.
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe an
Yeah,
artist.
definitely an
Is she
artist.
there?
She's not coming in.
I
mean,
think
tell her- tell her
musician
she needs to come in.
plays music.
But what if the musical instrument is a voice? You still have to be able to read music and reproduce it.
All right. Gotta be producer of the year here.
You
Pull this up on
practice.
Google.
You can practice cornhole.
Tons
I'm a
of singers
cornholer.
call their throat their instrument. You have
Oh,
to care
that's
for it.
weird.
It is. I don't
Don't
say
do
that.
that.
No
I
one
don't
wants
want
me
to hang out
to.
with you. You probably go to the
I feel
Lincoln
like
Center.
Okay,
Mick
this-
Jagger would probably call it that.
This seems like probably like a hot debate between actual musicians and singers. So a singer makes music with their voice, so they are a musician by definition. But some singers can't read notes and don't know music theory. So some musicians don't consider them musicians because they can't speak musician jargon and therefore more difficult. This is Quora though, so I don't really know how serious we're gonna take that.
Content.
I mean,
That's
if
like
we wanna
kind
get
of like
deep,
Reddit.
We'll get into Reddit. It seems like it's probably a big point of contention between people who actually like take the time to see. Because here's the thing: it's like you can be a natural singer and have a beautiful voice. Like you can't just pick up a guitar and be like.
I got one in the back. We could try it.
You have
Do
a
it.
guitar in
You
the
don't.
back?
Look, with the camera.
Who
Yeah,
plays
it's-
guitar in
it's-
your household?
No one.
Not Lindsay because she's not a musician.
I feel like
Good
it's
thing
like
she doesn't listen to the podcast.
I feel like singers say they're musicians. Actual musicians don't care, and then people who don't do either say that they're not musicians. Is where we're falling.
A
We'll
fair
put it up on the
assessment.
poll. We'll make an Instagram poll about it. Dean,
I love it.
we'll
I'm
see
tweeting
what
it
the
right
people
now.
So-
want.
Marie, at Fordham, what did you major in?
I was a double major in sociology and anthropology, so I had no idea other than getting a secondary degree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, what? So, what do you actually do with those degrees? Do you just go and teach? It's like the idea behind it.
You can. A lot of my professors actually thought I would really enjoy doing a PhD, and I think secondary career, I would love to do that. I love young people. I love the conversations, and I really loved college.
You love young people? You're
I
the
do.
22.
But I mean, like, I love that phase in your life when you're just like, you're leaving home for the first time, you're finally able to like have your own ideas and your own thoughts on things. You leave your bubble, hopefully. I think a lot of people should move for
Yeah.
college, even just for even 30 minutes away from where I am. And it was like a completely different world. But I like the idea of just keeping in touch with people younger than me as I get older, because not like I want to stay cool. Not that I'm cool right now, but
You're the coolest. You're like Lindsay's icon. We, Dom, we've been seeing a lot more, Marie, and so like we have these movie nights that were happening. We're watching Lord of the Rings. Dean, if you can hear this, we're on the final Lord of the Rings, and we should talk about what our next trilogy should be. Hey, Fellowship, and
Yeah,
Lindsay-
I'm rereading the trilogy right now.
of
Oh,
course,
spoilers.
as one does. And Lindsay is super pumped that Marie is joining movie night, which is a lot of fun. I think Lindsay thinks she should have been born either Gen Z or an 80s baby, which are basically the same thing sometimes. And I think she just lives through you, Marie.
No,
I would have
I
loved to be an 80s baby.
Adore her.
Wow.
Yeah, cocaine was crazy, man.
Or just being in high
Hey,
school.
Mrs. O listens to this.
Being in high
I've never
school
done cocaine,
turned
and that is
sensitive.
true in a fact.
Dom doesn't like Lord of the Rings, so I'm just gonna ask you: is this your first time watching the trilogy, or no?
Oh, absolutely not. I think it was
Okay, cool.
constantly in the background of my entire existence.
Okay, because both the Mazza boys, we had to introduce Lord of the Rings to them like 5 years ago, so their childhood was clearly.
I mean,
Robbed.
in rewatching them now, they're good, but they're not the best thing I've ever seen.
They're the best thing ever.
No.
They're fantastic. They moved
no, they're the
everyone
best.
down.
Honestly, like,
To
Frodo
New
is just a
Zealand.
little bitch. Like, I just hate Frodo in his entirety, his existence.
But every main
and-
character is essentially helpless. They need every other supporting character to get them to the goal. They have no idea what's going on ever.
No.
What do you like, Justin? If you don't like Lord of the Rings?
No, whoa. Star Wars is
Do you
much
like
better.
cookies?
Well, okay, wait.
Puppies? Like puppies?
This is such
Tyler,
a.
I'm saying
I
Lord of the
need to ask
Rings.
you- I just need to ask you a question because you're gonna lose a lot of credibility here.
You're going to say,
What do you
Yeah.
prefer more, the Disney Star Wars trilogy or Lord of the Rings? So that is Force
Oh.
Awakens, Last Jedi, and
all
Rise. of
right.
Skywalker.
That's, yeah, I will not. Yeah, you're right. I can't get on board that train.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings, definitely better.
All right. What about
I've
the
never
prequels?
even seen those movies.
The prequels are close to me.
See, that's insane. That's just nostalgia.
No.
That's you being nostalgic with the
Clone
prequels
Wars, all time.
and not having any nostalgia with Lord of the Rings.
Maybe. I mean, I just they're very long, which is little too long sometimes. They're good. Don't get me wrong. They're really good. And I think we're doing it in the right way. We're watching them like every 2 to 3 weeks. We do a little intermission, which I really love. Everyone goes, peas, gets your snacks. We also have phenomenal host, which really makes it lovely. We have fresh popcorn. We had Dom's chicken fingers last time, which was great.
I didn't make any chicken fingers.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Loser.
Who said that?
So are you watching Return of the King next?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Lindsay's super into it, which is a lot of fun. Like, I would not imagine she was. And I think introducing her to Game of Thrones a few years ago, now she's like into fantasy lore.
Nothing
laugh at,
sucks
Dom?
more than having someone not like the movies once you show them, because you're like, this could be really weird if you really aren't into like fantasy and like, because
I was
They're the
warning Andre for a
original.
while. I'm like, don't, like, Lindsay's not going to like this. And I think she got into it, maybe because we kind of forced her a little bit, but I'll ride with that train. And we built a nice little community around it. If I just introduced it to her, there's no way she would have done it. Right? But we got
you
like
would
a
ride
thing
with that
going.
train.
What do you mean?
It was like a Riders of Rohan joke.
Oh my God.
Loser.
Yeah, right?
No,
Cricket.
I'm laughing because all of my friends quote the most like obscure lines from it that just make me giggle. Like at the end, I think it's Return of the King. Like literally at the end, where they're all like meeting up, and Frodo's just like Sam. You know the scene. Tyler?
Yeah.
It's like this like dream like kind of world. Or
It's
like
not Dream World. It's just he wakes
no,
up
I know
from...
it's not, but it's kind of like like
Licking
slow
cartoon.
mo and stuff. Or like, oh, an elephant. It's just like that's stupid.
Yeah. You know what, Dean, what makes it enjoyable is Andre knows a lot about the universe. And I'll ask those weird questions like, oh, what was this? Or like, what was the history behind that? Why are the elves like this? And he'll like give me a quick 30 seconds. I'm like, oh, that made this scene a lot more enjoyable. If you like know all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you know the Legendarium, it definitely helps. But I think just on the surface, like they're just great, entertaining movies.
They are entertaining. The battle scenes are great.
Especially compared to everything that's been coming out. Like they're just CGI messes.
Yeah.
You know
That's a
what
fair
my
point.
you know what my gripe about Lord of the Rings is? I just never really liked huge battle scenes. I like more like one-on-one kind of fights or like small
Un-American?
elite groups, like 300. Perfect.
So did you
amount
like-
of people?
So did you like Fellowship of the Ring the best out of the three?
I mean, I probably can't differentiate.
tell you which one he
exactly
saw.
What happens? No,
Yeah.
I've seen them all,
Yeah.
but I can't. You can't give me a scene and be like, "Oh, that happened in that movie."
Sorry, I just once I hear Lord of the Rings, I get excited. Let me just update you guys on this poll that I put on Twitter.
No.
Can you put another one? What's the best Lord of the Rings?
I mean,
Well, like in Game
Well,
of Thrones, right? Like I like the one-on-one fights between like the Mountain and the Viper compared to the
Yeah.
Battle of the Bastards.
I get your point down from cinematic, but I also appreciate the chaos that goes along in like the large ass battles. And if they do it right, they single out a couple key moments between either 1-on-1 or 2-on-2s or whatever it is.
The battle. Wait, did you guys? Everybody watch Game of Thrones here?
Yeah, no spoilers.
I mean, we could. It's been
Yeah,
out for a long
it's been 10 years.
No, but like the Battle of the Wall, when like the wildlings and the Thens like invade
Outstanding.
the wall. That's like my favorite scene in like any TV show because they do exactly what you just said, Justin. That they go around to different parts. Where like, oh, like here's Ygritte shooting the arrows. Here's like the fucking dude with the axe. Here's Tormund. Love it. Savage.
Yeah, it's cool. Like it gives everyone everyone has their own role, and some people's role is just to die. Sometimes, like it's just some nobody, and like, oh, that guy didn't last long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, we went down a couple rabbit holes. Marie, what do you think our next movie, like trilogy or series, or maybe it's just a one-off? Anything come to mind?
Well, I do really want to watch all of the Die Hard movies. In like release order. We watch Die Hard, the original, every Christmas.
It's a great one.
And then we do, ever since I turned 21, we started doing occasionally the drinking game.
2 years ago.
Yeah. I think I skipped 1 year out of that. It feels like a lot longer. It feels like an entire lifetime ago. Because I was in college. I had a whole different life, and now I can't imagine going back to school, although I would give a kidney to go back just for like one more semester. Old. Yeah, I think it's just, I'm still at the point where I'm like, if I just had one more semester, I think I could do everything that I really wanted to do. And then I'd be fine for the rest of my life. But that is not how it works, unfortunately. And I don't think law school is going to be the same.
Where are you? Wait, where are you on the law school journey? But also, just throwing out an idea. I've never seen any of the Matrix movies.
Yeah,
I think I've seen the first one. Good. I think I saw the first one, and I was like, "Oh, I can get into this." And then the John Wick movies.
I was
going to say Dom Mazza fan. Yeah, so that's something I would love. Or I haven't seen any of the Mission Impossibles or the James Bonds.
I can't stand Tom
those
Cruise.
are huge series.
I can't stand him. I literally can't stand him.
It's funny. I've heard that from people. I don't know why. He's another short king.
Dude, there's a lot of short kings in Hollywood.
Oh yeah. They've been really using those angles.
Short king,
really?
Yeah, he's like 5'7".
Oh my god, I love him
new
more.
Short king, Jeremy Allen White.
He's just killing it.
Short king.
So you can have tall energy and be short. That is a problem.
Well, I mean, it's because the way.
Have you met the Mazzas?
I have.
All right. Tom Hardy. Oh, he's 5'9". All right, so
that's fine. He's under 6 foot. He's well under 6 foot.
Under 6 foot.
And he plays some beefy dudes.
Yeah, he's the man.
So
Kings.
Murray, that might be the title of the episode.
Peter Dinklage.
Oh, stop! I love it.
That went way down there.
Wow, that's all you think Elijah Wood is.
Oh, 5'5"?
5'5" is correct. He's pretty short.
Told you.
Jack Black, he's pretty short too.
Would you just look up short male celebrities?
Short actors. Dustin Hoffman? How tall do you think Dustin Hoffman is?
Oh, well, now that you're asking me, yeah,
that's he's correct.
Yeah.
You guys are good.
Marie, you wouldn't date any of these people.
Probably not. Unless
I don't know. They give tall energy. Yeah.
That's the thing. Cool. I'm not going to try and engage on a journey that I feel like will just make me and him both extremely angry. I'm just not gonna waste my time. Not gonna make you upset. It's a real
Yeah.
game out here.
Don't disappoint us.
Danny DeVito's pretty fucking short. I mean, I knew he was short, but I didn't realize he was short.
I just see like
It's
5'2".
4'11.
He's
No.
under 5 feet.
Yeah.
He's probably
No
like
way.
4'11.
4'11. Robert Downey Jr., surprise short king.
5'6".
Yeah, he's somewhere in there.
Dom, you're like saying
I mean-
people are short, but you don't even have their height.
5'8". Because they don't get. It's not that
That's
easy.
fine,
You
yeah.
gotta explicitly Google them height.
It's
He's
perspective.
5'8". His dad is 6'3". That's tough.
Oh,
Robert Downey
Downey-
Sr. Apparently he's
yeah.
famous,
It was
too.
an actor.
Oh yeah, what movie is he in?
Oh, don't give me that garbage.
Well,
Come
you
on.
just
He was
made
like
it
a
seem
producer.
like it was obvious that he's an actor.
Hey, but I've seen something about him that I knew it was.
Yeah, get fucked.
All right, cool. Sound like Canadian, eh? Right. So, are you in law school right now?
No, I just applied. I'm hearing back now, and I have to make a decision by April.
Ooh, exciting.
No, it is vomit inducing at certain points. It is so stressful. I feel like I'm making a choice for the rest of my life, which I guess also college kind of felt like. But I think I was more sure about that, and I also knew I couldn't go wrong with any college. But the advice I've been given by people around me and like people at work is pick where you want to practice and go to school there and go to the best school that you possibly can, which means graduation rate, employment like after graduation, and then also bar passage. So those are kind of like the three things you have to look at. It's also incredibly expensive. And I also, wow, I love my parents to absolute pieces. And honestly, they're really great. Like they are the nicest, most generous people I've ever known.
They're
and
the
compared
best.
to like they're so sweet. And especially to let me live here. God love them, but I have to move out for my own personal sanity.
Quick segue. Do you think I'm in your mom's top 10 guys she's ever met,
Oh,
like that she
absolutely.
loves? Yeah, right. I might be top 5. I think I'm pretty high up there.
You might outrank like in-laws and other people at this point. You've always
She's,
given me the best
she's-
hugs.
Dude, she's one of my, like, I can always, just someone who's been in my life for so many years, who just every time I'm around her, I feel warm and welcomed and loved. And, like, I mean, I've known her for 30 years almost. Like, it's just such a cool feeling to be around your mom.
She kind of feels like everyone's mom. I don't know how to explain that further, but like she is so sweet and so welcoming to everyone, and she's so willing to give to other people too.
Yeah.
And like
Mom's the
I
best.
think that's so special. And like I couldn't imagine two people that were more designed to be parents than my
Aw.
parents. Just because of how they are. I mean, they still very much want to take care of me and like do all those things, but I think of that. I liked coming home and getting to spend a little bit more time with them. But wow, that was so nice. This next chapter is going to be incredibly stressful, and I literally don't think I'll be able to afford a single distraction other than your wedding, which I have to
Yeah.
finish. I have to book the hotel, but I don't have the brain capacity to even fathom what it's going to be like. Everyone's like, it's going to be the most stressed you've ever been in your life. I have a friend who did it now, and she's like, my body has completely changed. I am a completely different person, and I'm excited for it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's anything like I've ever experienced before, and I'm really
Yeah.
aware of that. So
I have a few friends who went law. Obviously, a lot more friends who kind of went the MBA path of just like post grad. And at least from my discussions, like, so I did my MBA, but I did it online. Like, I didn't have that immerse yourself, stop working maybe, or whatever, like that full immersion into post grad. And but what I've gathered from my friends is, yes, it's stressful, and yes, like maybe it's a financial burden, but the community that you organically and inorganically like kind of make within that space, and that could be within your own school or just the network you start to build or conferences or whatever. Like I had friends, so I had a really good friend. He met what is now his future wife at grad school. And, she's from, I believe, Japan, and they go back there pretty often. And he just talks about how he would never have gotten this opportunity unless like he fully immersed himself in the graduate experience. And he's so thankful. And we caught up pretty recently about the differences. He's 2 years younger than me, but he's nowhere near buying his first home and he's, he just got engaged. And anyway, so we're like a little bit different points in our lives because we chose a different path, but he's so thankful to have done that. And he just kind of built this community that he's going to have for the rest of his life. So I think you should be like pretty pumped. I'm looking at the positives.
Yeah, it's just a lot of change that I know is coming up. And I also am avoiding making this decision like it's my job because I don't know. It's so scary because it's like you finally get to see what you're made of kind of thing. I've talked about it. It's been kind of an idea for so long that I was like, oh, I'm going to go to law school. I want to be an attorney. Like now it's like a real part of my life. And now you're really putting it to the test. I felt that way with taking the LSAT too. I was like, how you do on this exam determines the next step, which determines the next one. And it feels like a lot's weighing on it. And now that the exam's done and the applications are in and now decisions are coming back, it's really interesting to see my options. I'm really excited for them. I don't want to leave New York. I would like to stay here. And hopefully I'm in a career where I can make some money and maybe do some good things. Those two usually don't go hand in hand, unfortunately. So...
Dom has what is it, Dom? Everyone who likes money, raise your hand. It's our thing. I get what you mean, Marie. It's interesting, like the whole Dom hates when I talk about How I Met Your Mother because it's been a recent thing of ours. But like what Marshall struggles with about going like the green lawyer route and then not making any money and then trying to like support their lifestyle and ending up like trading all that in and going a different route. And you're right. He's like it's interesting because that's like one specific profession where you always do hear, do you want to go represent, the villains and make a ton of money, or do you want to go be the nice guy and make less?
And if I worked in a criminal defense firm for a few months, there was a lot of reasons why I couldn't stay at the job for longer, but I wanted to give it a shot because I thought the perspective, I didn't think I would do it as a career, but the perspective was going to be really valuable. And I thought, if I could do this, I can do anything, and I couldn't do it. And that was devastating because I really questioned for maybe half a year if this was really the career I still wanted to be in. But the attorneys who work there are some of the nicest people I've ever met. I think it's just an incredible ability to compartmentalize what you do. And knowing that you're doing a good job means representing your client, and they're exploring every avenue that you have access to. Whether or not you feel differently personally is not really a factor because you're hired to do a job. And if you're able to be like, this is the project in front of me and I have to help. And I couldn't imagine better people at the firm I was at. If I was at a crisis, I'd want them. I'd want the person that is trying absolutely everything. Because on paper, it might look absolutely insane because you're looking for technicalities in the work that law enforcement's doing. You're looking for excuses and stuff like that you can make. But that's your job. And that is what saves a lot of people in those absolutely terrible situations. And you'd want someone who's absolutely cutthroat and you're willing to pay. And I understand that desire, but as someone who is incredibly emotional, and because I'm a Cancer, if we want to talk astrology for a minute, because that is very Gen Z of me, I can't separate it. And I had a really hard time doing that. it was a fantastic experience, and I think everyone should really try, at least at a certain point in your life, go against your own values just to see what it's like. Even if you're talking to people on opposite sides of the political spectrum, or um, different lifestyles than you, or different values, I think that's really huge, and I think you can really see what you're made of, and like you might also find something you really enjoy doing. And I don't think
Yeah.
enough people do it, especially at my age. I think you're so entrenched in your own ideas, and there's kind of an echo chamber with like algorithms and content and people that pushing yourself outside of that seems really hard. But you can find you're really good at something, or you
Yeah.
really don't like it.
I do think like, and you'll experience this, I believe, because I by no means am I in anything legal, but I'm super into like I have to write my own contracts as part of my company and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, I think from a career aspect, just to touch on that quickly, your career, in my opinion, it shifts every 3 to 5 years. And I've seen a couple studies that kind of back this up, that how it shifts with your life, kind of milestones, right? So like maybe your first milestone is, moving out of your parents' house or whatever it is, and then it's getting married, and you have all these different milestones. But your career aspirations and what you want out of your daily job will switch based on where your life is. And therefore, sometimes your job changes or your environment changes or your focus changes at work. In architecture, and doing nothing like that at all, like you start to maneuver these life lanes, if we call it plug, and it's fun to see like them looking back. I've been in my career, I don't know, less than 10 years, and it's just about 10 years, I guess. Yeah. And I look back, I'm like, damn, like what I came out as a 22-year-old from undergrad is so different than where I am now. And 10 years from now, it's going to be completely unrelated. And they're just like little stepping stones. But I wanted to mention, I know like we're kind of running up against time, but I don't know if you've ever heard my run-in with the law, which is not really that exciting. But um, when I bought my home, the day after, the property was assessed, and it was assessed improperly, and my taxes shot up like 250%. Like something where my attorney called me, he said, "You got to sit down for this." Right. And I'm like, what the hell? So taxes shot up, and I was like, all right, I'll figure out how to pay all this, yada, yada. But when I saw the tax assessment, it was assessed retroactively as well. So there were, call it 6 months out of the year that I was not responsible for. The prior homeowner was responsible. I nicely asked for him to pay his share. No response. I then worked with my attorney and sent a letter over, like no response. And then I sued him. I had to go to small claims court. I talked to my attorney. He said it'd be too expensive for him to represent me because it's small claims. It was like $4,000 or something like that. He's like, it's not worth me. So you have to represent yourself. So I got really smart on the law. I went to court 3 different times, which was insane because either they didn't show up the first time, they pushed. The attorney showed up the second time and blamed it on a Jewish holiday. They were not Jewish. And the third time, we finally settled out of court for like 80% of what it was. And it was freaking scary. Like going into court, swearing, like waiting for a name to be called. Like, no, I feel every single person should go to court and watch what it is, because it's exactly what Hollywood, like, as in from my perspective, it was so scary. You don't want to mess up. And it's just something that like I had no guidance with. You just kind of have to self-educate. So I think it is cool that you can kind of go down this route and support. Dom, have you had any, like, you haven't been to court at all, right?
No.
Do you plan on it?
No.
It's a good answer. Yeah, it was just like pretty scary, and I think like it was nice to have someone. We have a good family friend who I pick his brain with different like legal questions, and obviously he doesn't charge me or anything. And I'll just shoot him a text, and we'll hop on the line for 15 minutes, and that doesn't happen often. It's like once every 6 months, but it's always nice to have someone who knows the law that people like us can leverage. So I will be calling you for future calls.
Absolutely. And that's what all my friends tell me too. I think it's also a really versatile degree. I think you can really go any direction once you have that kind of training. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. Because I don't know if I want to stay and like be a trial attorney, because in court it's such a nuanced, it's language, it's very particular, it's very intense, and it is a really, really scary environment. You're dealing with a lot of people that know all the technicalities right off the bat, and coming in as someone who doesn't, I can't imagine how daunting that task must be. And you're going up against the state, like quite literally, the government is in front of you and is an entity unto itself. And that can be incredibly overwhelming. But I think I can do a lot with it if I don't stay. Ooh.
You took your LSAT, you said?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, so can you answer these questions?
Can I try them out? We should all try them.
This is a great way to close.
Okay.
All right, hold on. No one say anything. We'll write down our answers for the first 4. No
I think
Googling.
it's 10. I think it's 15 questions.
Oh my goodness.
Damn.
We don't need to do all 15.
We don't need to do all 15.
All right, we'll do 5. So, question number 1, I'll read them. Orators were able to win cases for their clients as a result of their A, knowledge of the law, B, skill in speaking and debating, C, familiarity with court procedure, or D, all of the above. You have a second, students? I'm going to go on to number 2 for our audio listeners. Number 2, in primitive legal systems, disputes were decided by tribunals, judges, orators, or narrators. Law school curriculum now has nationwide uniformity because of accreditation by the A, State Bar Associations, B, American Bar Association, C, U.S. Supreme Court, D, Inns of Court.
I think I'm 3 for 3 so far, guys. I feel pretty good.
Okay, Justin, shut up. Number 4, legal training in England came from A, Bar Associations, B, Magistrates Court, C, Crown Court, or D, Inns of Court.
Oof.
And then we'll do 5, not to bore people too much. Oh, Joe just sent me something. I think our video is doing well. Attorneys with legal aid societies provide legal services of a contract basis, voucher basis, assigned basis, or pro bono basis.
Okay.
Wait, go to the 5 one more time. Sorry. All right, I see.
Has everyone written down their answers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. No, whatever. I
Not
don't
on
know.
paper, but I know them.
I'm just going to put A for everything.
Wrong.
I'm not answering them.
You're not
I
a
hope it doesn't
robot.
make you put your email in.
Okay. It did not. I got an answer correct. Number 1 was D, all the above. Did everyone have that?
Yes.
Okay. Number 2 was A, tribunals.
No, wait, no.
No,
Number
B was the
1
correct
is
answer.
speaking. Yeah, that's what I put.
Oh, sorry. Okay, B was the correct
Orator.
answer. Skill in speaking and debating. Sorry.
Yeah.
In primitive legal systems, disputes were decided by A, tribunals. Everybody have that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, honor system here.
Oh, I got
3,
the first one.
law
I got
school-
the first one wrong.
Okay, there we go, Dom. Law school curriculum now has nationwide uniformity because of the accreditation by the B, American Bar Association. I'm
Yes.
assuming everyone got that.
Yes, I almost
Okay.
put the State Bar, but I went with the American Bar.
Yeah, nationwide, Dom, come on. Legal training in England came from the D, Inns of Court.
Not what I had.
I put
Okay.
the magistrates.
All right, looks like the law students.
Sounds like Harry Potter. or something.
Looks like the law students 4 for 4. Attorneys with legal aid societies provide legal services on a pro bono basis.
All right, I feel pretty good. Cool.
All right,
Read 5 for 5.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
all right, you could be our lawyer
Yeah,
Yeah.
you pass.
when we
Well-
get sued for doing something we're not supposed to. So actually, that's like, are you at all interested in like copyright law, or is that just
Trying to hire
does
you.
that just bore you?
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea what I want to do. In my head, I would like to do contracts and in-house lawyering for a designer and do copyrights for like design patterns and stuff like that. I don't know if it
Mhm.
technically relates to media, but I don't really want to deal with people. I think that's too stressful for me. I like products. I like even your money. I'll deal with that. Your real estate, fine. But in terms of making sure you stay out of jail or putting you in jail, I really have no interest in.
All right, good. So
I don't think I have the stomach for that.
when you start going to class, we will be texting you and asking trademark and copyright laws because we don't know it.
Yeah.
And right now we're just using artificial intelligence for everything so we don't get in trouble. But eventually we're probably gonna
Well, we
Probably
need
hit a
that. We need
snag.
that intro song.
that's our big issue right now is like copywriting songs. And then we get hit
Gotcha.
with flags on YouTube.
There's a
So-
certain amount of time that I think you can.
It's
It's
yeah,
like
it's like
100
10 seconds or
years.
something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that's you're talking about like
Yeah.
overall
Yeah.
copyright. Yeah. So like you could use Steamboat Willie now, but you
Yeah,
can't use any other
just
Mickey
saw that
Mouse.
video.
You can only use Steamboat Willie. Yeah. So if you could just drop everything that you're doing in the next like 6 months while you're just starting school and just figure that all out for us, that'd be great.
I would love to. It would give me a project and actually test my brain out a little bit, maybe get me warmed up for the
Okay,
whole
good.
experience.
Good.
I
We'll
need a
pay you
pet
pro bono.
project.
So
we
Thank you very
pay in
much.
movie nights.
We'll pay you in baseball cards.
It's pretty good stuff.
I like
and
all these
Funko
options.
Pops.
Oh, I like the
Or-
Funko Pops. Baseball cards
Plenty
really
of
have no
those at
interest for
Andres.
me. Yeah. Oh my god.
what about Yu-Gi-Oh?
Huh?
She doesn't even know what Yu-Gi-Oh is. All right.
That
end
was the
end
best
interview.
reaction.
End the interview.
Huh? Marie, thanks for popping on. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Well, I'll see you in about 2 weeks for to round out Lord of the Rings movie night.
Is that President's Day? The day before?
It's whatever day
It's the Super
her
Bowl
sister told
weekend.
me. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
oh wait.
The one
might be a
day a year I
problem.
watch football. It's at night, though. I think we're doing it late that night. This football go all
Super Bowl's
night.
at 6 o'clock.
No, it's the 18th. Super Bowl is the 11th. We're okay. Thank God.
Who's playing
Okay.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend and who else?
The
49ers.
49ers, the guy who looks like a 22-year-old.
Love him.
You-
That's the
Taylor-
one that has the really hot guy on it, yeah?
They all have hot guys on it.
Yeah,
but
oh, I mean,
There was
Who's
like
really
one
hot around
last
the
year that
49ers?
everyone was like, I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe it was Jimmy Garoppolo that she was
I'll
hanging
show you.
with.
that's a
Wait,
while
I'll show
ago.
you I'll show you the quarterback of
He's not on them anymore,
49ers.
Joe Burrow, he's a smoke show.
No,
Mm.
Joe Burrow also looks like he's 22.
Yeah, I think Joe Burrow's a
Hello.
good-looking guy. Whoa, that's
Yeah.
a really good picture of Brock Purdy.
Mary, what do you think of that guy?
Is that Peyton Manning behind him?
Kind of looks like him.
Just like gut reaction. What do you think about that guy?
He's cute. I'd give him a smooch if his
Okay, so
lips would come out.
yeah, that's Lee Harvey Oswald. He assassinated John F. Kennedy. So
Ooh,
I don't know, man.
I just,
I might
definitely
still give
not
him
Brock
a
Purdy.
smooch.
Kind of does look like Brock Purdy, though.
he does look like Brock Purdy, which is why I brought it up. But now we have a communist here in the podcast, so we're gonna have to.
Well, fun fact, I do believe communism would be more beneficial to the society than capitalism, but I know that's not going to go very many places with you all.
That's going on Instagram.
That's an assumption. That's an assumption.
But
But he was
you're
married.
wearing a hat,
was-
so I trust you more. The two of them.
Sounds
I
like
don't
someone
really-
doesn't make a lot of money.
I am extremely broke.
Everyone's a communist until they get their first paycheck.
Yeah.
All right, Murray. Well, thanks for coming on. Dean, is she
What
good
is-
to leave? Did she upload it?
No, I'm gonna
What
stop
did
it
you just
now.
do with your microphone, Justin?
I opened